I'm Tim Pritchard. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for Five Rivers MetroParks, and today we're at the Barbara Cox Center for Sustainable Horticulture. It is Ohio Native Plant Month, and we're going to be talking about native plants leading up to Earth Day 2022. This is a great time to talk about native plants and how to incorporate them into the home landscape. That's an excellent way to replace invasive species, create quality habitat for wildlife, and establish beautiful naturalistic landscapes. Today I am here with Kelly Wood, who is a horticulturalist here at Cox Arboretum, and Betty Hovel, education coordinator who specializes in gardening.
Well, Tim, a lot of people say to me, I want to put a native in, but gosh, I already have a landscape. And so I say to them, start small. Start with something cool like this Tiarella cordifolia. The name itself is really neat, but you look at the leaf, and it's got these wonderful lobes on it. It's really a heart shape, but because of the lobes, it looks more spread out. Now, what's cool about it is it comes up, and then early in the spring, these wonderful flowers provide bees, those early bees, the wonderful foam, the wonderful stuff they really need, because they're hungry. They just got out of bed and they're starving, so this is the plant for them. Now, what's neat about it is, can you imagine putting this in with hostas? See, the hostas are like right now.
It'd be a nice combination.
They'd be beautiful. And you don't put them so tight with it that the hostas spread them over. But you do go ahead and nudge them in there so that ferns and maybe wild ginger and the hostas behind them, gorgeous stuff, and then it'll start to travel. It's a stoloniferous plant, so it sends out little stems underground and then pops up again. So this is going to cover a great area, not quickly, but enough so you don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take over the house. But it's really good.
So that would be great for anybody who's considering tearing out some invasive ground cover and reestablishing something native.
Yes.
And you brought up such a nice point that you don't necessarily have to go 100% native for your landscape. You can incorporate natives with other plants that you like.
And it's so much easier to do it that way instead of ripping out the whole yard. And you have a little bit there, and then you understand how it grows. And once you get that understanding, then you say, oh, I like this, maybe I'll try that. And it's just this wonderful little progression.
It changes year to year, right?
It does, and it's gorgeous. I mean, this is great in fall. Wonderful foliage. You won't have the flowers, of course, but this gorgeous foliage. And it's semi-evergreen, too, so even though it changes to a purpley color, it stays. And the deer might taste it, but it doesn't taste that good, so they don't worry about it.
You'll have something just gorgeous year-round.
Yes, and you can love it, go out and talk to it anytime.
Well, that is a fantastic recommendation. Thank you so much, Betty.
You are welcome.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for coming out to the Arboretum today, where we specialize in trees.
My pleasure. It's a beautiful spot to be, and I think you brought a baby tree with you. Is that right?
I have. This is our friend, the bur oak. We started from some acorns that staff and volunteer collected last fall. We have some prime examples out on the grounds here for people to see how mature trees look that they could plant in their own yards.
This is, of course, one of our native trees here in Ohio.
It is, and it's my favorite native tree here.
So this would be a good example of a tree somebody might want to incorporate in their home landscape, correct?
Absolutely. There's on the street now a lot of calorie pears out there that people should be getting rid of. Their invasive quality is not best for your home. These bur oaks create shade for your house, cut down on your electricity bills, provide habitat and food for wildlife. You could even eventually hang a swing in it for your children.
Down the road,
Yeah.
the whole life cycle. So some people might think that planting a tree is a big job, but this seems manageable, right?
It absolutely is. All you really need is a shovel
Oh.
and some space for it to grow. It's going to be about 50 to 60 feet tall, so you don't want to plant it underneath power lines. You want to take it into consideration that it wouldn't want to be too close to your home. Those are all just basic things when you go to plant a tree. You also want to make sure that it's planted at the proper level, not too deep. That's a very common mistake. And also, please no mulch volcanoes. People and landscape companies and just individuals in general tend to over mulch their trees.
Rot out the trunk, right?
Absolutely.
Any other tips for getting that started? How would you want to take care of that during the first season after it's planted?
I would probably just water it depending on the rainfall we get in July and August, maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
Well, those are some great tips. It's an excellent example of a native tree that can be incorporated into the home landscape. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
So we'll be celebrating Ohio Native Plant Month all through April and talking to different MetroParks staff about some of their favorite native species. You can follow us on all of our social media channels and at metroparks.org. Thanks for tuning in.